Avi Melamed, the founder and CEO of Inside the Middle East Intelligence Perspectives, joins us now from Jerusalem. Thank you very much for being with us. Let's start with Abbas's trip to Egypt. He is meeting a friendly Sisi and a friendly King Abdullah II, or ones who actually have more benefit in an American Saudi deal that would include perhaps what Saudi is asking for: enriched uranium, some sort of NATO-like alliance, and a deal with Jerusalem. Is he meeting partners who are willing to vouch for him in Washington?
Well, thank you for having me. You definitely put many ingredients into this salad. I would say that first and foremost, he's meeting a concerned allies. Look, the situation in the Palestinian Authority is very worrying. It's very disturbing. Lots of inner challenges. And again, everything that happens in the Palestinian arena is not detached from the regional circles. It's very much concerning the Egyptians. It's very much concerning the Jordanians, and also wider circles, as you probably noticed. So I would say that this meeting of Abbas in Cairo, this summit, which, by the way, is following a previous summit that took place a couple of months ago, that summit is basically first and foremost supposed to send some sort of like a signal from those players, Saudi Arabia and Egypt and Jordan, that actually are expressing their support for Abbas, particularly in this period and these difficult times that he's going through. Just reminding you that a couple of days ago, Abbas basically let go all of his major governors of the major Palestinian cities in the West Bank. So this summit is in a way kind of like backing Abbas' recent move.
But I'm asking, the reason why I'm asking is because they have their own interests too, and I'm wondering, I'd like to get your perspective on how they view this sort of, first of all, the normalization between Israel and Saudi Arabia, if it will indeed take place. Meanwhile, the Americans are pouring very cold water on all the Israeli announcements that it's around the corner. And second, what are their interests in enrichment of uranium in Saudi Arabia, and also in that deal that Saudi Arabia is trying to strike, the military deal that they're trying to strike with Washington?
I think it's important to try to reflect how the whole story, the allegedly reports about allegedly upcoming around the corner Israeli-Saudi normalization, which to the best of my observation is not going to happen tomorrow morning. I think it's important to understand how it's being viewed within the Palestinian arena. The current mood within the Palestinians, and I'm talking about particularly those who are affiliated with the Palestinian Authority, the Palestinians in the West Bank, they are very desperate for many different reasons. And one of the most urgent message that is coming from the Palestinians in the West Bank, and I've been talking to some people in the last couple of days, it's very clear, is that they are saying, if Saudi Arabia is going to sign normalization with Israel, that means the end of the whole story of the Palestinian. That means that the Arab world totally threw us, the Palestinian, under the bus. So this is the way the Palestinians are looking at it. So in that perspective, the Saudi move, the recent Saudi move, appointing an ambassador or an emissary, if you want, with the Palestinian Authority, obviously is supposed to calm down the fears of the Palestinians and to calm down the whole system, because already things are very much boiling within the Palestinian arena. And reminding you, there are the opponents of the Fatah and the Palestinian Authority, Hamas and Islamic Jihad, Iran, who are constantly trying to fuel instability in the West Bank, constantly trying to fuel the fire of flames or the flames in the West Bank. So in that sense, I would say that the Saudi move basically aims two major objectives. One is to calm down the fears of the Palestinian Authority and to basically express support to help stabilize a little bit the very shaky situation of the Palestinian Authority. And the second signal is from the Saudis to the United States of America. The Saudis are acknowledging by that the Biden administration has an interest of stabilizing the Palestinian Authority, and the Saudis are basically kind of like signaling the American administration, the Biden administration, that as part of improving the relationship between the two states, a process that has been taking place recently. This is one of the gestures that the Saudis are doing. So that's the way I would look mostly in the context of the Saudis' move. And then there is another beyond the scenes signal of the Saudis that is basically also sent to another factor of the Palestinian, which is Hamas in Gaza Strip. By clearly standing with the Palestinian Authority, the Saudis are sending very clear message to Hamas. And by the way, the Saudis recently kind of like were smiling a little bit at Hamas, but this message right now is basically making clear Hamas that the Saudis expect Hamas to be a reasonable player within the Palestinian arena.
Okay. Avi Melamed, thank you very much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.